Most people spend their lives in pursuit of being noticed, constantly adjusting themselves to fit what they believe others will admire. They modify their tone, their style, even their opinions, thinking that if they just say or do the right thing, they'll finally be remembered. But the irony is that this constant effort to attract attention only makes you invisible. When you chase validation, you signal to the world that you don't already have it within you. People can feel that energy, and instinctively they pull away. The truth is, genuine magnetism arises not from trying to be seen, but from being so at peace with yourself that others can't help but notice your calm presence. When you stop chasing attention, you begin to radiate something rare: presence. Presence isn't about what you say or how you look. It's about how deeply you exist in this very moment. A person who is truly present doesn't need to force connection because their energy already speaks. There's a quiet confidence in someone who doesn't need to prove anything. When you walk into a room with that kind of energy, people feel it before you even open your mouth. It's subtle yet powerful, like gravity. You don't see it, but you can't deny its pull. This presence is born from self-awareness. When you truly know yourself, when you're not trying to become someone else's idea of enough, your attention shifts inward. You stop seeking approval and start radiating authenticity. The irony is, when you no longer care about being noticed, that's when you become magnetic. Because people are drawn to those who are whole within themselves. They can sense when someone doesn't need anything from them. It feels liberating, and they want to be near it, even if they can't explain why. Most people are constantly broadcasting signals of need, needing to be liked, validated, understood. But when you withdraw that energy and simply be, the dynamic changes completely. You're no longer chasing, you're attracting. You move from a space of lack to a space of abundance. You no longer beg for attention, you command it effortlessly, not through dominance or arrogance, but through peace. People are magnetized to peace because it's something they secretly crave. In a world filled with noise, the one who is silent becomes the most powerful voice. The shift happens when you stop asking, "How can I make them like me?" and instead start asking, "Am I being true to myself right now?" The moment your energy aligns with authenticity, people feel it. You don't need clever words or practiced charm. Your calmness becomes your charisma. Your stillness becomes your statement. And in that state, you naturally radiate confidence, not the loud kind that demands attention, but the quiet kind that draws it. To stop chasing attention is not about indifference. It's about wholeness. It's the realization that you are already complete, already enough. When you know that, you stop performing and start existing. And that existence, pure and grounded, becomes unforgettable. People think about you not because you fought for their attention, but because your energy lingered. Effortless, calm, and undeniable. People rarely remember what you said or what you wore. They remember how you made them feel. It's not your eloquence, your achievements, or your beauty that lingers in someone's memory. It's the emotional vibration your presence created in their soul. You can try to impress others with clever words or charm, but once the conversation ends, those things fade like echoes. What remains is the emotional trace you left behind, the warmth, peace, inspiration, or calm that they experienced in your company. That feeling is what truly defines your impact. Every interaction is an exchange of energy, whether we realize it or not. Some people leave you drained. Others leave you lighter. And a rare few awaken something deep within you. When you become the person who uplifts others without trying, they begin to think about you without effort. This isn't manipulation, it's alignment. You've connected with something real inside them, something beyond the surface. You made them feel seen, not for who they pretend to be, but for who they are beneath all the noise. That's why people remember presence more than performance. When you truly listen to someone, when you look into their eyes without distraction or judgment, you give them a gift so rare in today's world, the gift of full attention. Most people are used to being half heard, half seen, and half valued. When someone comes along who listens deeply, who feels deeply, it leaves a mark that words cannot. You become a mirror in which they see their own worth reflected back at them. In that moment, your presence becomes unforgettable because you touched something sacred within them. Their sense of being real and important. Think of the times you've met someone who made you feel peaceful without speaking much. Perhaps they carried an energy of stillness, or maybe their laughter reminded you of simplicity. You might not even know why, but they stayed in your thoughts. That's the secret of emotional impact. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to the heart. When you're grounded in authenticity, your energy naturally calms those around you. You don't have to force connection. You simply create a space where others can feel safe enough to drop their masks. The mistake many make is believing that memorability comes from grand gestures or constant attention. But it's the subtle things, the way you listen, the kindness in your tone, the gentleness in your eyes, that people replay in their minds long after you're gone. When someone feels peace in your presence, they crave that peace again. When they feel inspired, they return to that thought. Whenever they need strength, you become part of their emotional landscape, not because you demanded to be, but because your energy resonated with theirs. So the secret is simple. Focus less on trying to impress and more on how you make people feel. Be fully present. Be sincere. Be kind without motive. When you connect through feeling, rather than performance, you plant yourself in someone's heart, not just their memory. And that is how you become unforgettable. There is a quiet power in silence and stillness that most people overlook. In a world obsessed with speaking, proving, and performing, those who can remain calm become rare and magnetic. When you no longer rush to fill every silence, when you stop trying to force your presence into every space, your energy begins to expand on its own. Silence does not mean absence. It means depth. It means you are so rooted in yourself that you no longer need to announce your worth. People can feel it. They may not know why they're drawn to you, but your calmness begins to echo in their minds long after you've left the room. When you cultivate stillness within, your presence starts to carry weight. Think of how a quiet person can walk into a busy room and shift the atmosphere without saying a word. That kind of energy comes from inner balance. It's the result of not being enslaved by the need to speak, explain, or impress. Silence speaks louder than words when it comes from someone who is in harmony with themselves. People feel safe around such energy because it doesn't demand anything from them. Instead, it allows them to relax, to breathe, to slow down. In your stillness, others find a momentary refuge from their chaos. Most people use words as shields. They talk to hide their insecurities, to control how others perceive them. But when you are silent, you expose nothing and reveal everything. You reveal confidence, patience, and mystery. You show that you are not desperate for attention, that you can let life unfold without interference. This quiet assurance unsettles some but intrigues most. The mind is drawn to what it cannot fully understand, and stillness has that quality. It invites curiosity without chasing it. Silence also sharpens perception. When you speak less, you hear more. You begin to notice details, the tone of someone's voice, the rhythm of their breathing, the emotions hidden behind their words. This awareness gives your responses more depth and precision. When you do finally speak, your words carry the weight of observation, not reaction. That's why those who master silence often seem wise beyond their years. Their words are not many, but they are meaningful. Being still is not about withdrawing from life. It's about engaging with it from a place of centeredness. It's learning to let things flow without forcing outcomes. When you become that still center in the storm of others' restlessness, people gravitate toward you naturally. They can sense your calm like warmth in the cold. They might not even realize it, but they keep thinking about you because your energy gave them a glimpse of peace. The truth is, stillness is magnetic because it mirrors what everyone secretly longs for: relief from noise, clarity amid confusion, and connection without words. When you embody that energy, you don't need to chase attention. Your silence speaks for you, and it says everything that noise never could. Authenticity is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can possess. It's rare, unfiltered, and profoundly human. When you are unapologetically yourself, people can feel it, not just see it. In a world filled with masks, rehearsed smiles, and curated versions of reality, authenticity stands out like a breath of fresh air. It doesn't demand attention, it attracts it. Because deep down, everyone is searching for something real, and when they find it in you, they can't help but think about you. You remind them of truth in a world addicted to illusion. Being authentic doesn't mean being loud about who you are. It means being at peace with who you are, even when the world misunderstands you. It's the quiet confidence that comes from self-acceptance, the understanding that you don't need to perform to be valuable. When you speak honestly. When you love without calculation. When you walk away, you do so with grace. That kind of energy cannot be faked. It has a vibration of integrity, and people can sense it immediately. It's comforting and rare, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Most people spend their lives playing roles, trying to fit expectations, or projecting an image that will earn approval. They forget that the essence of connection lies in honesty, not perfection. You can't connect deeply if you're always hiding behind what you think others want to see. But when you strip away the layers of pretense, something powerful happens. You become real. And the moment you are real, people feel safe around you. They may not always agree with you, but they'll trust you, and trust is the foundation of true connection. Authenticity also radiates freedom. When someone lives without the constant need for validation, it inspires others to do the same. Your energy begins to give silent permission for others to drop their masks too. They may find themselves opening up more easily in your presence, feeling lighter, calmer, and more alive. That's the unseen influence of authenticity. It awakens the same quality in others. You don't have to push or persuade. Your presence alone becomes a reminder of how beautiful it is to simply be. There's an effortless charm that comes with authenticity. You don't chase moments, you flow with them. You don't force people to like you. You allow them to experience you as you are. Even your flaws become part of your magnetism because they make you human. People remember you not because you're flawless, but because you're real in a way that makes them feel seen. So when you are authentic, you stand out not by trying, but by existing truthfully. You carry a kind of quiet power that doesn't fade when you leave. It lingers in others' thoughts, the memory of someone who didn't need to pretend, someone who was whole without performance. That energy, grounded and genuine, is what people remember long after words are forgotten. When your inner world is aligned, your outer world begins to reflect it effortlessly. True attraction doesn't come from trying to impress or manipulate. It arises naturally from inner balance. When you are centered, calm, and self-assured, people sense that peace within you, even without words. They feel something stable in your presence, something they can trust. In a world where most are restless, anxious, and uncertain, your grounded energy stands out. You become a reminder of what harmony feels like. That quiet confidence is what draws people in, and they find themselves thinking about you, not because of what you did, but because of how you made them feel. Safe, seen, and at ease. Inner alignment means your thoughts, words, and actions move in the same direction. You're not pretending to be confident. while secretly doubting yourself, nor are you saying one thing and doing another. Your energy is coherent, and people can sense that coherence. It's like music played in perfect tune. Others may not understand why they're drawn to it, but it resonates deeply. You stop sending mixed signals, and instead, you project a steady frequency of authenticity and peace. That's what makes aligned people magnetic. They aren't trying to be something. They simply are. When you no longer depend on the outer world for validation, you become emotionally independent. You stop being swayed by opinions, rejections, or praise. And because your worth is no longer determined by what others think, you move with quiet confidence. People are drawn to this independence because it represents freedom. The kind of freedom everyone secretly desires, but few attain. You don't need approval, and that's precisely why others offer it. You don't chase connection, and that's why people seek yours. This kind of attraction isn't loud or dramatic. It's subtle, like gravity. People find themselves pulled toward you without knowing why. Your calm presence becomes a sanctuary for their unsettled minds. In your energy, they sense a stillness that feels like home. And the truth is, they aren't just attracted to you. They're attracted to a version of themselves that awakens in your presence. You reflect their potential peace, and that makes you unforgettable. Inner alignment also brings clarity. You stop trying to control outcomes or prove yourself. Instead, you act from intuition and peace, not fear or need. Life begins to flow more smoothly, and opportunities, including relationships, start to align with your energy. People who vibrate at your frequency find you effortlessly, while those who aren't meant for you drift away. There's no struggle in this kind of attraction. It's all resonance. When you cultivate that harmony within, you become naturally magnetic. You don't have to be the loudest, the most beautiful, or the most successful. You simply have to be balanced, your mind, heart, and spirit moving as one. In that state, everything you do carries quiet power, and that power, born of peace and self-awareness, is what keeps people thinking of you long after you're gone.